It's back and bigger than ever. It's the unofficial 40 from Soonerscoop.com. Now, here's the entire Sooner Scoop crew. Carrie, Josh, Eddie, and
George.
All right, welcome back. It is another edition of the Unofficial 40 podcast right here from historic Campus Corner in Norman, Oklahoma, where George and Eddie will not be for much longer because they're heading to Tuscaloosa, Alabama, a place I've been, a place I've seen Oklahoma win. And good afternoon, boys. Welcome to the Unofficial 40.
Hello. Haven't ever been down there. I'm looking forward to this trip. Almost the excitement level of like Knoxville.
They got kind of like a campus corner, kind of like, you know where the basketball players shot each other up?
I am aware.
That is where kind of their campus corner area is. I think it was just one guy that shot other guys.
Yeah, he shot a non-basketball player. In fact, I think it was a female, a lady.
I think that's right, yeah. That guy's like in jail for life, right?
The guy that did it, yeah. I think he got charged with murder. The Brandon Miller's playing for the Charlotte Hornets.
Well, they made sure he wasn't a part of any of that, so.
Yeah. No, I'm looking forward to it. Massive game. I'm excited about it, everybody that is going to watch the game day preview with Nick Kelly. Good to catch up with him. Covers Alabama for AL.com. And, certainly I think because of the way that Oklahoma won in Knoxville, it's been basically a week and a half of kind of psyching yourself up into this idea that not only is Oklahoma a player in Saturday's game, but a player in kind of the bigger picture with the college football playoff and all that kind of stuff. It's exciting times. It's kind of like we talked about with George on the practice report maybe on Tuesday. If you would have said at the beginning of August that Oklahoma was going to be playing extremely meaningful football in the month of November, I think every person would have signed up for that at the beginning of the season, and they damn sure are playing a meaningful game coming up on Saturday.
I'm just happy for George today because he finally got his question brought up on the college football playoff rankings teleconference last night.
Yeah, and I thought, for those that are unaware, subscribe to Soonerscoop.com. You could have read the story last night. It costs $1. I asked Mac Rhodes, the chair of the committee, basically his thoughts on Oklahoma, as well as have they discussed John Mateer's injury, which I think is, and I don't know if it really means anything, but I do think it's an interesting discussion because they have talked on there quite a bit about other teams having players that are injured and how that factored in some of their thought process in the rankings. And I think if Oklahoma's sitting there at the end of the year as one of those teams being debated, and let's say Mateer goes and plays well these final 3 games, and it's like he's back being healthy, like does the committee go, hey, that loss they had against Texas and that loss they had against Ole Miss, like clearly John Mateer wasn't fully healthy. Now we've seen what Oklahoma looks like when he is fully healthy. I don't know.
I think that's how that plays out, to be honest with you. I mean, like it has to be a situation where they're looking at Oklahoma versus other teams that are equally, have equal resumes. And like you said, John Mateer has to play really well. He has to be a different looking quarterback than he was. Let's say he would have to go to Alabama and play really well and help them win for that to come into play.
Or if he plays really well and they lose in a close game and then they end up at 9-3 and Mateer plays great in the final 2 games, I think that could be a conversation where maybe they're there with another 9-3 team or a 10-2 team in a different conference. And it's like,
BYU.
Hey, Oklahoma, like Mateer's starting to play well. Like when he plays well, they are one of the top 12 teams. So anyways, long story short, Rhodes said that they have actually discussed that and that it did play a factor into their thought process, especially regarding the Texas game and how poorly, obviously, OU played in that game and specifically John Mateer. So, I don't know, interesting. And then today, Brent Venables was asked about Mateer and said that his velocity is increasing. He's getting better every single week. He looks healthier. So, you're hopeful. And then also, Brent also was asked about teams ahead of Oklahoma in the rankings that maybe don't have as difficult of a schedule or not as good as a resume. Basically, they were insinuating Notre Dame being ahead of them, and Brent was like, look, we had chances to win both the games we lost, and we didn't. So I don't have any problems with where we're ranked right now.
Yeah, I mean, the last thing a coach wants to do is sit there and talk about how it's right now at this point of the season.
And I think Brent knows and the players know. We talked to him all this week. Every single one we talked to was like, look, we control our own destiny. If we just go win these final 3 games, we're getting in. There is no debate. And that's the bottom line, and I think Oklahoma is taking the right approach in thinking that way, and I do think that they can win this week. I'm not picking them, just like the Tennessee game. I'm not picking them to win, but I certainly think there's an avenue to win.
You're saying that they have no chance is basically what I'm hearing.
Well, no,
that's
you
what
actually
you said during the Tennessee week.
You actually said that.
You said that
Now
they
it's
have
George
no chance.
during the Alabama week. It's
Interesting.
being you.
I do think, though, there's an avenue for Oklahoma. There's multiple avenues, I think, for Oklahoma to win this game. I think it's going to be another close one, and can Oklahoma come up with a few big plays like they did against Tennessee to win it?
We'll get into more of that. Josh McQuistion is here from Houston HQ. And Josh, maybe some of your thoughts just on what you think of the rankings and where they are. Not that they matter because, like we said, OU controls its own destiny, but you got the Notre Dame thing hanging out there. It's clear the committee is not real high on Miami, it seems to me.
Yeah, I think they pretty clearly just don't think anything of the ACC. I mean, for Miami, and that the funny thing is you've got Miami folks pissed about the Notre Dame thing, but don't seem to acknowledge that they're ahead of Louisville. Like, the same problem exists. So it's just one of those kind of funny things. But yeah, again, I think Oklahoma's right where they need to be. Guys, the biggest problem for Oklahoma is the fact that Missouri and LSU are just dying.
Yes.
Like, they're just falling apart. And that, those look like, at minimum, top 25 wins. And LSU, that there was a point in time I thought that may decide who's going to go to the SEC championship game. Like, I had that feeling at one point in time. And now you're like, guys, they both have a very real chance at being 6-6. Like, that is on the table here. And so this is Oklahoma's last real chance. I mean, and I know just go in and get a win, do whatever you can, but it may be their last real chance to make a big impression because those last 2 weeks are just not the games that we thought they were going to be.
I mean, what a disaster at LSU right now. I mean, how awesome would it be if Brian Kelly sued his way back into the sideline?
All I know is I can't believe I'm saying this. I am firmly on Brian Kelly's side in this whole lawsuit. Like, and I hate Brian Kelly, but
for them to say we never fired him,
it's awesome.
It's incredible. I mean,
they're basically saying, just to get it right, that Scott Woodard fired Brian Kelly, but they fired Scott Woodard, so he didn't have the authority to fire Brian Kelly. That's what they're saying, right?
No cooties. That's kind of what it sounds like to me.
It's awesome. Stand strong, Brian Kelly.
He should get every penny.
He's suing to do that very thing. Yeah. I mean, LSU's trying to basically say, no, we don't owe him that money.
He stopped showing up for work. Why would we pay him?
Have to f*** up? How bad do you have to f*** up for Brian Kelly to be the good guy?
Yeah.
Well, it also just shows you how bad of a guy he is, that even when he looks like the good guy, it's still like, well, it is Brian Kelly. I don't like, they're looking for things to try to get him, but
they're trying to fire him.
Awesome.
So they can save
it certainly
some money.
too, like, makes that coaching search, like, I think it would be a turnoff for a lot of coaches.
George said it best. Like, there's now rumors out, I guess, with Louisville trying to work on an extension for Jeff Brom. Who are all these places going to hire? I truly, like, I thought that some of these dominoes would start falling, and all of the rumor and innuendo out there with James Franklin and Virginia Tech. You would have thought if that was going to get done, it would be done by now. So you got to go to Arkansas?
Guys, does it feel kind of like the portal? Like, do you remember the early years of the portal when it was just like every good player seemed like they were on the table? Like they could leave, they could go. There were only a few programs that were really set up. And then over the last couple of years, everybody's gotten smart, and they're like, we're locking up our best players. We're going to focus more on keeping our guys than going out in the portal and spending money and maybe leaving our back door open. It feels like that's what's happening in the coaching searches now because of the NIL money and how much it's kind of leveled the playing field. There's just not that huge gap between some of these jobs like we're used to thinking of it as. And so I think there is, like, I just don't think you're going to see these P4 to P4 moves nearly as frequently as we got used to seeing for, the entirety of our adult lives as we watched all this.
I mean, I'm sure a part of it too is like, look, Lane Kiffin everybody thought Lane Kiffin was going to have a down year at Ole Miss, and Ole Miss stepped up, for the most part. I mean, they Trinidad Chambliss is certainly something that they kind of lucked into. because he was brought in to be a backup to Simmons. But at the same time, like, they're still decent on defense. I mean, they're not great, but they're kind of like Alabama when they need to. They come up with plays. They've got athletes, and it's like sometimes in this day and age, if you have a good booster, collection behind you, and that you can go out and get players to make you better. Like, not every job is in that situation. I mean, I don't know if Florida is that situation. I mean, they've certainly had their problems with NIL, and it seems like they've got it figured out, but are you walking into – like, how do you know what you're walking into in a lot of those cases as coaches? That wasn't a factor before.
Yeah.
It was, do I have a good recruiting base regionally? What are our facilities like? Now it's really like, will this school go out and spend $2.5 million on the best quarterback in the portal?
Well, and it's also, I think for a lot of these schools that are having to buy these major buyouts, we've talked about it before. Like, you're not just paying the $40 million or whatever it's going to be for the head coach. You're paying $40 million plus a couple extra million for assistant coaches, I would imagine, and then you're having to replace an entire roster. That if you really want to be competitive in some of these conferences, you're going to have to spend $20-25 million.
Well, and you're going to have to pay more than you would have to keep some of those guys.
Oh yeah, sure.
Because they don't know the staff. Like, they don't, like, the number that you might have gotten from a guy that committed to Brian Kelly is going to be different than a guy that didn't commit to whoever comes in.
It's going to be fascinating, Josh. Just as much as we talked about it on the recruiting report this week too. That Oklahoma's in on a couple guys that are currently committed to one in particular with the Abibi kid committed to Tulane. What happens if all of a sudden Tulane's head coach ends up moving on to Auburn or wherever? Does he try to take him with him? It's going to be a very fascinating next month here leading into the early signing period, which is less than a month away now. I think that dawned on me while we were recording the recruiting report yesterday that it's coming up on whatever that first week of December is, December 3rd, December 5th, something like that.
Yeah, it's December, I think it's the 3rd. I keep wanting to say the 5th, but it's the last
I think it
day.
Opens on the 3rd and then it closes on the 5th.
The 3rd is a Wednesday.
Yeah,
okay.
The 3rd is a Wednesday.
Then it's the 3rd.
That's
3rd through
exactly
the 5th.
Right. So we can call 5th like the annual, like the Peyton Bowen Day. For things that go crazy, things can happen. So, but no, December 3rd is when most of the guys will sign, and we can get into recruiting stuff. But there's still. I was in Woke today. I've got a new defensive end name that they are talking to. Like, then an offer could happen. The way I've watched offers happen over the last few weeks, it's trending that way for this guy. And you're just like when does this train stop? Like, they're going to push to 28 guys at the rate they're at.
Does it help that? And this is more of like just a wide-ranging comment too, just in terms of like Oklahoma probably not having to look into the buyout category this go around in the carousel. It seems like there's a level of stability there that certainly was different 3 weeks ago when we talked about this, but I think right now they're really kind of banking on they do have some stability, with the head coach all the way down through the coordinators and coaches, I guess. Some of the offensive coaches could be talked about differently, but we'll wait a couple weeks. Maybe they're going to be coaching in a playoff here coming up.
Yeah, we talked about that yesterday, Eddie. Like, there is something to be said for these schools that are not having to do these coaching carousels, whether it's your guy could leave or you already fired your guy or whatever it is. Oklahoma's in the playoff hunt. They are, again, they should finish very strong against a schedule that everybody was like, wow, this could be the end of this whole setup, So there is, they are, and they're taking advantage of it. I think this is the first real moment where it feels like the on-field success is where it needs to be, and the front office staff is set up to go identify the kind of players that they want to find, because everybody that like the new names that pop up, they are height, weight, speed guys. Like, they translate very easily into what we've. I don't want to say no, because there's always room for a little variance, but there is absolutely a clear line from a lot of these offers basically from the moment Jim Nagy and his staff have arrived.
All right. Wanted to take a time out real quick, and wanted to ask you guys, like, how many text chains do you guys? What's a good number for a guy to have, like, with text chains with like his bros and stuff?
What do you mean? Like how many different?
Like
group
how many
texts?
different group? Yeah, how many different group texts do you have going at one time?
7 or 8.
Really, that many?
That's a lot.
Wow. I was going to say 2 or 3.
I have 3, I think.
I don't know.
My close friends.
Yeah.
Are you? Oh, you're talking about individual groups.
What are the
I
categories?
thought you meant like number of people within a group.
Oh no.
Oh,
no. Like my text.
Yeah, I think
my
there's
text
like-
groups are like 3 to 5.
Yeah,
people.
there's like, I'm in a big one with about 17 guys, but that's the usual.
Those
That's
are
the,
all
that's the
Fijis
big
and stuff,
one.
probably.
No, a bunch of Lambda Chis. Just a bunch of like the close buddies is what I would say.
The reason I'm bringing it up is lately more and more like guys are talking about
Shout out building.
Is that the name of your group? Mm-hmm. I don't have a text group name.
Oh, we do. We have my best friends from college. It's called Yeezy Yeezy. What's good? It's your boy Max B, and that's from the Kanye West song. Because we all went and saw Kanye in college, like our freshman or sophomore year, and so it's called that. And then
Sounds like a Nazi,
before he got
Nazi sympathizer.
it is when Kanye was going through all that, we had to have a discussion of like, do we need to change the name of this?
Oh, wow.
And then the other one with my good buddies is called Hooters Gang, and it's because we all went to Hooters one time together a few years ago, and we just called it Hooters Gang.
One time you went to.
Yes.
It's interesting. Yeah. Anyway, well, see, I'm part of. Well, not older, but some of my text groups are older guys, and more and more, I'm getting asked about. Hey, will you ask Will about this peptide? Will you ask him if he does this? I'm talking about Cody Drug. Peptides are the future of medicine, and Cody Drug compounds them every day in their state-of-the-art sterile lab. They have peptides, all kinds of different ones, weight loss, energy focus. They have popular names like Sermorelin, which triggers natural growth hormone release for anti-aging, fat loss, improved sleep, muscle growth, and recovery. And also, Cody Drug loves teaming up with the Oklahoma providers and med spas to get you high-quality custom peptide therapy safely and fast. Just go visit CodyDrugRx.com, and they'll help you get started. I know, a lot of the stuff that my buddies ask you is like, yeah, we do that. Just have them give me a call. So if you've heard about something or you have a friend that's doing something that's helping them, give Will a call at Cody Drug RX. Go check him out on their website at CodyDrugRx.com. Also check out his Instagram page where he talks a lot about this stuff and what you can do to feel better each and every day throughout your everyday life. CodyDrugRx.com. Appreciate them always being a part of the show. Eddie, on the other hand, he's got a big holiday offer for everybody.
Absolutely. Our good friends over at Enjoy Vision. The holiday season is upon us, and so are the savings at Enjoy Vision during holidays of LASIK. Now through the end of the year, you can save an incredible $600 on LASIK and lens replacement. What you want to do is schedule your LASIK or lens replacement consultation at enjoyvision.com, the letter N-J-O-Y vision.com. Whether you were born a boomer or a little sooner, everyone can enjoy the savings and crystal clear vision just in time for bowl season, maybe playoff season. Happy Merry Savings. Enjoy Vision. This is where Suitor Scoop LASIKs.
It's crazy that we're so close to Thanksgiving as well.
It's awesome.
You guys are going to be off this weekend, busy, not really.
It's the best. I think November is like a underrated sports
I love
month.
November. Yeah.
Feast week, one of my favorite weeks with college basketball, the crossover that you get with all college basketball in general, women and men, with kind of the nitty gritty in college football. It's hard to believe that this is the final regular season road game this year.
By the way, how was McCaslin last night?
It was good. The best part about that game is there's going to be a lot of people that didn't watch it when resumes and all that kind of stuff come together, and you go, oh, you won by 26. All right, that's good. Without watching the game, that was like a 10-point game with 10 minutes left.
Good atmosphere, though. I mean, the first one they had was incredible.
It's never.
I heard that
the first one's never going to be topped.
I was about to say,
I'll
it
say
sounded
that.
like it's not. It was not.
It was
same.
not the best.
Yeah, I saw some pictures.
It was still cool though. I really enjoy going to the
They
field
need
house
to-
and watching games.
They need to do it like, and I probably can't do this for some reason. I don't know, but they need to do it against like a quality opponent. And I'm not saying like, they need to bring in Kansas to play in that game, but like if you brought in Tulsa, or something, that would be cool.
I don't know if Tulsa would do it. I think it's just like so early in the year. I don't know. I was a little disappointed with the student turnout, but
Should they alternate it between like 1 year students, 1 year fans?
But also, Eddie, if let's say they would have beaten Gonzaga.
Yeah, I think it probably would have been attended a little bit better.
Yeah.
Gonzaga
kind of is what it is.
Kicked the crap out of St. Louis last night.
I think Gonzaga's pretty good.
Yeah, they are. I think they are. I think they are really good. We'll see. I mean, OU just Tay Davis played well. He had 11 offensive rebounds. It was the most by a player since 1995. Outside of that, it's still just kind of coming together. They're still not shooting the ball quite well. Turnovers. I think that stuff's going to get taken care of. Some of the guys that haven't shot the ball well are going to shoot the ball better. They're just better shooters. Like, there's evidence that they can do it. So, kind of a big game coming up on Saturday evening up in Sioux Falls.
They kind of have to win that game, don't you think? I guess they don't have to.
They don't have to, but yeah, like it
would not be good if
I think
lost.
Nebraska's going to be decent. They're going to be one of those bubble teams, I would imagine, in the mix in the Big Ten. Probably, I don't even know what they were picked preseason Big Ten, but I would imagine in between like 8 and 12, something like that.
All right, getting back to kind of what we were talking about earlier, but Josh, the openings and things. Would you say that LSU is the most prime job to, for OU to maybe go after some of their commits, or is it Florida? Obviously, Peyton Houston is out there at quarterback, and a guy that, I don't know, would you say OU finished second on him?
Yeah, I don't think there's any question. They were the number 2 team in that recruitment. It seems like it's Penn State. Now, I don't know if that's a little bit of opportunity and
OU's already strike there.
Yeah, with Jasir Rogers, and there's no doubt in my mind they will get a visit at some point from Messiah Mickens, which is a guy, like I said, I think if OU could have any of their remaining targets, he might be the choice. Like, I can't emphasize enough how much they really like him. That seems like the place, but again, part of me thinks that is born somewhat of Penn State having a pretty realistic NIL model that kind of, compares favorably to Oklahoma's. Like, they can, the kid is not having to take a pay cut to come to OU, where, you talk about like Florida. Florida has spent some serious money on a couple of guys. I don't think there's any question when Davian Gross made the decision to commit to Florida over Oklahoma. I think, I hinted pretty strongly that NIL had a lot to do with it. The fact that the kid is not wavering really at all, with no head coach and no clear idea of who will the quarterback be, there's all these questions at Florida, and he seems dead set. I think that kind of tells you like where that's at and why it's there. So I think that's part of it. LSU, again, like, interestingly enough, OU and LSU just didn't really butt heads for a lot of guys this year. I mean, really the only guy I would say that OU really tried with was Deuce Gerald, the defensive lineman out of Georgia, that they were real heavy on early, but never, not a lot ever really came from it. So they'd love to, but I wonder if they see that as a feasible and a good plan. And frankly, guys, for me at this point, as much as, again, like a truly elite player, okay, fine, whatever. A 5-star guy, you got to spend some money on, okay, great. But with that, kind of omitted from the conversation, I'd rather be in the portal landing guys who can help me next year for a team that should be pretty damn good for Oklahoma. Like, okay, let's fill in the pieces. Let's go get a tight end who can really, be a multi-dimensional weapon for Oklahoma, or get another receiver to go with Isaiah Satane. Whatever it is that you deem you need, I think it'd be much wiser to spend the money there than just to go get a guy that's a good player. It's no slight at those guys, but a guy that's not going to be really ready to maybe, have you hit some serious goals next year.
And it does seem like just your recruiting report and the things that you've been talking about this week, and Stacey Ford out in California and things, it does seem like OU is readying themselves and starting to, at least in the high school level, trying to build some momentum there. And you would think, if they have a win from, if they go and beat Alabama, which, none of us are sitting here saying that's going to happen. But if they did, it seems like they're just, perched to get out there and really try and make an impact in the high school ranks right now.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we guys, we haven't even talked about it. We've got a Hayes Fawcett, pony tweet from last night. A clear for those that don't know what I'm talking about. Hayes Fawcett's pretty much the edit guy for all of high school football recruiting, and he works for On3. And he tweeted out last night an OU emoji. Basically, it's what he uses for the OU emoji, or for somebody requesting an OU edit for a commitment. So somebody is ready to pull the trigger. And I again, my impression is that it's a 2027 decision. So we'll have to watch. Talking to people, I don't get the impression it's going to come down real fast. I know, I think the first dot that most people connected, we'll just get into it, was Taven Epps, the defensive end from California. I've spoken to Taven this morning, and he kind of said, yeah, everybody kind of thinks that's me. It's not me, that kind of thing. So now, who knows? I mean, I'm not going to say that, but I mean, all you can do is take the kid at his word. And I think with that, the good news is Oklahoma's in really good shape. And he's aware of it, that kind of stuff. So I think he knows that people think OU's in a good spot, and he's certainly not refuting that part of it.
And Epps is the kid that decommitted from Texas?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, on I believe that was Monday. So, big-time kid out of Tustin, California, long-standing relationship with Stacy Ford, and is a guy that, again, he's like 6'4", 230. He's a top 100 player in the country in the Rivals industry ranking. So you're talking about what would be a huge win for OU, and their second top 100 guy in the state of California already. I mean, Stacy Ford is earning that paycheck that he is getting. So really, guys. I mean, we haven't seen a presence like this in Southern California since like the Stills, Jefferson, Brennan Clay era, over more than 10 years ago.
Pretty impressive to go into the Mecca and be able to do that.
It's amazing with those crowds at USC that OU's able to do this.
I like how Josh Pate kind of dropped that bomb, and it's just been kind of crickets since. It was fun for like 3 days, I guess.
Well, what do you guys make of that? Like, where would he go?
I think we got it figured out.
Yeah.
We sat up here one night and figured it out.
Tennessee Titans, Josh.
Really?
That's my guess.
It's just a guess. Pate's connected in Nashville. I think Lincoln wants to go to the NFL at some point.
I don't think that he wants to coach in the SEC.
Yeah.
I don't think that he's going to Penn State. Talk about just a fish out of water. I could listen to the overtures about Cody Campbell making some type of power play with Joey McGuire, but it seems like everything is going so well in Lubbock. Why would they?
It's hard to mess with that right now.
Yeah, like why would that would be such a bad look even if they got to the playoff and then decided to run him out of town. That would be terrible. Although I would tell Brent Venables that should be the first phone call he ever makes to Joey McGuire, see if he wants to come coach tight ends. But I don't know. It definitely I don't know. And USC's still in this. As much as it pains me to say it, I think USC's pretty good.
They still have issues defensively, but they're offensively they're as good as they've been.
Well,
the work he's done with Jaden Maiava is pretty damn impressive.
I still think their offense
really
has some problems too. They do some stuff where they just stall out and they can't do stuff. Or Lincoln, and it's the same stuff with Lincoln that he had at Oklahoma.
I don't think it's ever going to be historically great the way that it was with Baker or Kyler, even Jalen to a certain extent.
There's a very real world though where neither OU or USC make the playoff, but they're going to play in a bowl game.
That would be amazing.
I kind of think if OU doesn't make the playoff, that's who they're going to play in the bowl game.
I don't know. There's a lot of
I'm just embedding
projections
myself with USC that week.
The ReliaQuest Bowl or whatever with Nebraska.
Yeah, but I think it could also be USC. I think it'd be Nebraska or USC.
Oh, yeah, because Big Ten.
Big Ten.
Duh. Yeah. Didn't even think about that.
I think they could also end up, though, in the Texas Bowl and play like TCU.
And USC could very well get beat this weekend when they play Iowa. So
gross is correct, Josh. No one wants that.
Nobody wants that. That's just gross.
I want USC or Nebraska if OU doesn't make the playoff. I think that'd be awesome.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the problem when you've got the playoff now because all the bowls are taken. So from what you're used to doing, if you don't make the national championship, if you're a team like Oklahoma or any kind of a blue blood that's had success in recent history, like you fall far as the bowls. Like there's no one to really you don't get caught by the Cotton Bowl. Oh, well, we'll go play in the Cotton Bowl. We're not going.
Well,
to
the Cotton Bowl's in the playoff, right?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
This is all those
Yeah.
teams, even the Peach Bowl, been swept up in the playoff. It's like, yeah, you end up at the ReliaQuest, and you're like, how the hell did we get here?
I'm closer and closer to just saying, all right, expand to 16, do away with bowl games just in general, and let's just have playoffs.
Bowl games just are not.
There's no appeal to the bowl game anymore. Outside of
Unless they
you
played
could even-
USC, that would be kind of.
You could even say for teams, if you did away with bowl games, you could, as much as I would miss it on a December 17th at 1:30 in the afternoon, having something to watch, just give the teams the practice time. Like you basically qualify for a bowl game. That just means you get to practice in December.
You know what else is kind of sad is like, I've noticed this at a few games. It's like there's no reason for like the Cotton Bowl people to come and scout or the Sugar Bowl or anything like that. Like the people that are coming to scout are those sad bowl games. It is like the Tax Slayer Bowl. It's like
Citrus.
Yeah.
I think was at. It was in
somebody
Knoxville.
somebody was back there at the Old Miss game. I can't remember who it was though.
Chick-fil-A.
Was it Chick-fil-A Bowl?
Chick-fil-A came to one of OU's games. Because they handed out like flyers.
Oh, did they up at the press box?
Well,
Yeah.
Chick-fil-A's the Peach Bowl, isn't it?
Yes, but like I think they were there.
Yeah.
They still go. Chick-fil-A's. They're maybe the most well-run, like high-profile bowl. Like
It was really good.
Yeah.
well, they're in charge of the preseason game now too.
Yeah, and I think that they're more of a. They like to go and just be like, hey, like, we're here and we support you or whatever. I don't know. I still don't understand why bowl games go to some of these games.
Free
but
trips,
Yeah.
free tickets in the press.
Oh, you
box.
could also end up in the Citrus Bowl. That's another one. I think if they don't make the playoff, it'd be like Citrus, ReliaQuest, or Texas Bowl. There's also
Citrus
outside
is in
chance.
Orlando, isn't it?
I think so.
Ugh.
And then there's the Music City Bowl in Nashville.
See, the Music City Bowl. I've
I'm
always
all
wanted
for
to
it, but
go to that game.
I don't know. There's not a lot of projections for them to be in that.
I think they'd have to lose a couple more games.
Yeah, I think that'd be 8-4.
which wouldn't be good.
No, but I would like to go to.
Guys,
Nashville.
somebody asked me, and George, I bet you got it in the mailbag. What do you think? Like, what's the most likely outcome of all the possible scenarios? Like undefeated, they don't win anything more. They beat Bama. Like what do you guys see as the most likely path for them?
9-3.
2-1, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and win the 2 home games.
Yeah.
And I think if they do that, they're going to end up landing like right outside the playoff. And I still think there's a chance they get in at 9-3. I just think they're going to need a lot of shit to happen around
You
them.
better become it. It's the middle of November when you find yourself like looking up Pittsburgh Panthers stats. Just like, okay, what does Pat Narduzzi do? It doesn't it seem like you're always kind of relying on Pittsburgh to play well against somebody?
Oh,
And I think that they might have a chance this weekend. I do think that another thing that pains me to say, I think Notre Dame's pretty good. Like, I don't know.
yeah.
I think they are too. I just don't think the
I
resume's
think
very
they'll
good.
dust Pitt. I don't think Pitt's played
I don't
anybody
think so.
meaningful.
I think Notre Dame's going to get in. I think the more likely scenario if you want a team to get in at 9-3, you need the ACC to only get one team in, because I think the Big 12 is only going to get one team in, and I think it's going to be Texas Tech. And then it comes down to what does the committee think of a 10-2 Miami versus a 9-3 OU or Texas. What does the committee think of Georgia Tech? Like whatever. Like you need the ACC to only get one. What's Miami's schedule?
It's not great. Like from here on out,
They still have Pitt. They're another one that has to play Pitt.
Miami finishes the year with Virginia
NC State,
Tech.
Virginia Tech, and Pitt.
Yeah.
Yeah, you need them to lose. If you're going to get.
I think they'll do it for you.
Yeah.
God, they're so talented. I can't figure out where they're going so wrong, but boy, it's bad.
Just go win this weekend.
Yeah, that'll take care of it.
Who has a better chance this weekend? If you had to get into your head, would you back Texas going to Athens or OU going to Tuscaloosa if you had to pick one?
Gosh, that's tough.
Let me throw this out. What if both Arch Manning and John Mateer both play really well?
Who has a better chance?
OU with
I
their
would
defense.
say OU.
I would say OU.
I kind of lean Texas.
You always like Texas, though.
I think Texas is really good. And I think they're starting to play a little bit
I
better,
think that
too.
they've gotten a little lucky, but I do think that they have found a few things.
They found
Arch
ways
is
to
playing
win.
well. They have against bad teams.
They know how to win. Which
Well, Vanderbilt's not a bad team, although they did give up a shit ton of points to Auburn.
I don't know if Vanderbilt's all that good. I think Vanderbilt's a solid
I'm
team.
on that boat. I don't know how good Vanderbilt is.
Yeah.
They're not. They shouldn't be a playoff team. They're not good enough to be a playoff team.
I mean, their best win
They
is
just
against.
don't have the depth.
Who's their best win against?
Vanderbilt?
LSU?
Probably, yeah.
At home?
Yeah. Now, Vanderbilt is going to be able to, they have Tennessee on the back end of the schedule. I'm not familiar with who they played this weekend.
I think Tennessee's going to beat them.
Where's that game at?
Knoxville, I'm pretty sure.
It's in Knoxville. Yeah, that's right, because they went to Nashville last year. That's right. I don't know.
Pavia is just such a cockroach. I mean,
He is.
I know, but he's kind
I
of,
love him. I mean,
he's in that
he's
Baker
great to
Mayfield.
watch, yeah.
Like, I think you said it best
He
in the
keeps
War
you in
Room the
every
other
game.
night, Josh, on Saturday afternoon. It's like, I kind of hate the guy, but then he starts playing, and I'm like, damn it, I like this guy.
I do, man. I hate the I don't know. Like the vibe I don't love, but when I watch the dude play football, I'm like I'd follow that dude anywhere. Like I'd play for that guy because he's just tough as shit.
I say it affectionately, but he's just kind of a scumbag Baker Mayfield. Like he's just kind of a dirty Baker Mayfield.
Yeah, he's like your
Although I think Baker
off-brand Baker Mayfield.
I don't know if Diego's been arrested. Baker was arrested, so I guess the Vanderbilt fans would push that right back in our face.
Can we talk about how well Baker played with the Manning cast thing?
Yeah, that was
great.
great.
That was fantastic.
That was
great.
great.
Was beautiful. The way that was handled. That was perfect.
You know why you think that Pavia is a scumbag? Because he looks a little bit like Jeff Nadeau.
Yeah, a little bit. I can see that. A little bit. He's kind of there. I don't know. But with all that said, what Clark Lee's done at Vanderbilt is nothing short of
for sure.
unbelievable. Like,
Yeah.
the guy's a good football coach. I think he would be a great hire if LSU had the brains to do it. I don't know if he would leave Vanderbilt right now.
And I
though.
think Vanderbilt has a lot of money.
That's what I'm saying.
I think that they'll pony up.
With the NIL situation these days, obviously LSU's going to have some built-in advantages, but I think more and more you're going to start looking at some of these coaches that go, Rhett Lashley at SMU is the perfect example of somebody that looks around and goes, I could probably go to a better program, but I can win at a very high level here in Dallas.
And get paid a lot of money and then have really good
And
rosters.
probably get paid just as much
Yeah.
where else he would, and not have to worry about the governor looking over his shoulder.
Well, and that's what it comes down to, I think, for Lane Kiffin, too.
Should be noted the Texas governor would have to be elevated to look over his shoulder, but you guys get the impression.
I'm just going to leave that. Move on. Well, and that's the thing with LSU. Like, you talk about buyouts and stuff. Like, I don't know how much money LSU has. It's good. I mean, it's good. But, like, you get in your position where you're paying off a coach $54 million. That's why they don't want to do it, because they know it's going to damage their donor base. Like, and that was the same thing with OU and Brent a year ago. It's like, do you really want to get into...
Well, OU also... I would push back on that. I don't think OU didn't fire Brent because they didn't want to pay the money. Like, I don't...
It's not. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, if you're a program of, which I would say financially, like the donor base, probably a little bit more similar between OU and LSU.
Yeah.
Like if OU got in a position where they had to pay a huge buyout, I think their NIL would suffer. I mean, it would definitely suffer, no matter who the next coach was.
For sure. I agree with that.
And I think LSU's going to suffer.
I mean, and Kerry, you nailed it. Like because there was a conversation going on the board, and somebody was like, "Well, look at LSU; they care about winning." And I'm like, I don't know that. I don't think LSU is the perfect example of like this can, like they can just keep this train running. And then yesterday the news breaks. I'm like, they're not fighting this if they have the money because they know how bad it makes them look. Like they know this looks like Mickey Mouse, bullshit.
Like how many other schools, Josh, how many other schools have gone this route and tried to pull we're firing him for cause and had it work out? It never works out.
Michigan State's the only one I can think of, and that was obvious cause. Like there was no question about that.
And there was a lot of dirt for them to dig up there too.
Yeah. I mean, it's that was a layup. And again, like I don't think I've ever even heard anything about Brian Kelly. Like he's just a shithead. Like he's not like he's a like a criminal or anything. He's just a pain in the ass.
He did kill someone.
Yeah.
I mean, I think LSU is one of those schools too, though, that it's always funny to be, especially at some of these bigger programs, how things come out and it's like, oh, he did that, but that just was never covered because it just kind of got swept under the rug a little bit with the powers that be in Baton Rouge. So I wouldn't be surprised at all if shit really hit the fan in Baton Rouge and all of a sudden we find out that Brian Kelly's been doing some really dirty stuff behind the scenes.
But again, like, what does that make LSU look like? Like, you covered this, and now that we need to fire him, we're gonna air it all out.
I just think
Like,
the people
what does
of
that tell the
Louisiana
next coach?
do not
Yeah, I
care.
think that's Louisiana. I think
just
that they'd
don't
be
care.
very
No.
prideful of that.
I mean to a future head coach. If this doesn't go well, we will air everything we've got on you because we can't afford to fucking pay you.
Yeah,
what we
sure.
agreed to pay you.
I do think, Josh, you're right. I think that everything that's going on right now at LSU is making that job less and less attractive.
Yes. That governor stuff, like he's got to stop talking.
Meanwhile, I
there's
think-
no coach in the world that wants to deal with
Jeff
that.
Landry needs to have a press conference every day.
Meanwhile, I think the Auburn job is getting more and more attractive. Like I watching that and I'm like, man, if I'm a coach out there, I'd be like, I'll come be the head coach and you can keep the staff and the players and like I feel like we can go win there.
Guys, that one, I would say more than any of the other major open jobs, that feels like the one where I think I know what's going to happen. Like I think that's going to be John Summerall. Like that's just my gut.
He's going to get one of those jobs, I think. I think he's going to get one of LSU, Auburn, or Florida.
Yeah, if it was fact or fiction, John Summerall is going to be coaching in the SEC next year. I think it's abundantly fact. I just don't know where. Good situation for him. He's going to have options.
All right. So yesterday, George was up in Oklahoma City for the Board of Regents meeting, and here's another topic we could talk about that's going to get people riled up because OU's going to do some renovations on the west side, the press box side, and it's going to get some people that I don't know have a what's the phrase a stake in the game. Skin in the game. Because everybody's gonna. I know and it's happened on the message boards where people are like they're taking away seats from families that have been sitting there for 50 years, and that may be true in some cases, and I think that's going to happen probably, but not on a widespread level. They're going to lose some seats, and I know that's something that Joe really kind of danced around yesterday, and you asked him the question about it, about contacting people and things like that, and it's pretty clear that. It wasn't something he wants to address right now or is interested in addressing right now, but there's a lot of things at play here with this renovation in terms of what the seating capacity is, what this is for, all this stuff. Essentially, George, it is a way for them to generate more revenue in the era of revenue sharing.
Yeah, that's why they're doing this. And, I don't know all the ins and outs of that or what that money actually will look like, what they're bringing in versus what they could potentially bring in with this new renovation, but
can I stop you real quick? I do know that part of what they're doing is the people that are like the foundational donors that they've talked about, like those people are going to have suites for like 25 years.
Yeah.
For giving millions and millions of dollars to help fund this thing.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing is this is fully funded by essentially the fans in the athletic department. Like they're not taking any funds from anywhere else, like state funds. So it's all essentially paying for itself in some regard. But I think the question that a lot of fans have, there's two. One is if there's a lot of people that are sitting on that west side, they're like, well, what's going to happen to my seats? Am I going to be able to afford them? The answer is probably no, unless you have a lot of money. But I do think that they'll probably relocate. Eddie, I think your parents... Did they relocate when they did the south end zone?
Yeah, they did.
So I think
they were on the west side and then they went to the end zone, or were they already?
No, they were in
zone?
the south end zone,
Okay.
and then they relocated.
Okay,
because they weren't going to buy a loge box.
Yeah, so I think that that's going to be something that I'm sure is an option. You can relocate, or you can pay the millions of dollars to sit in those seats. Because I believe that the west side is going to be largely now a lot of suites and club seats. What does that look like? I know that there's been, I've talked to a few people. They studied Florida State, which was a very controversial renovation that they just completed. I don't believe, though, if you go look in Florida State's renderings in the new stadium, their suites are like field level. I don't think Oklahoma's are going to be field level. I don't think that's in the plans. I do think, though, there's going to be quite a few suites and club seats in the lower bowl, as well as some in the upper deck, and obviously the new press box and all of that.
Well, a lot of the Santee Lounge people, like I know my best friend who I always went to games with, like his parents sat under the overhang, and all those seats were like Santee Lounge access seats.
Yeah, and I think it's going to be a lot of that. So I don't know what that looks like. I also don't know. There's a lot of people that are worried about, the capacity is going to drop a lot. The 7,000 number has been thrown out there quite a bit. I personally haven't heard that. Not saying it's wrong. Oklahoma certainly doesn't want to say the number right now because I think that they would get a lot of pushback from fans that they're lowering capacity. I also know that if they ever get to the north end zone, phase 3, I've been told that would add seats, so they'd eventually get back up to where they would want to be. So I don't know where their capacity is going to be, but they think that even if they drop, however many seats, they're going to end up making a shitload more money. At least that's the belief, and I would assume they have something to back that up numbers-wise, and it sounds like they have a ton of people already investing in these suites and club seats they're going to build. So that makes me believe that that's factual, that they're going to make a lot of money.
I'd be curious to know, like, at what point are you smart, and I'm sure they have people that study this stuff, like, at what point are you smart to cap season tickets? Because I think there's a lot of people that would like to go to OU football games, would pay a pretty penny to do so, but they don't want to pay $10,000, $20,000 to go to every game, but they might be willing to pay $1,000, $1,500 to go for a weekend with their family.
This is definitely not a win for the average fan, in my opinion.
That wants to have season tickets.
Right. This is a win for the rich in a lot of ways, and a win for Oklahoma in terms of getting more money. Which I guess, you have to view it that way as well, but it's certainly a tough pill to swallow, I would assume, for a lot of people that maybe have season tickets or have had season tickets over there for a long time.
I'll say this, like, they're in a really good sweet spot right now, and you hate to see things messed with, but like the atmosphere on game days right now I think is as good as it's ever been. Mm-hmm. The people that are coming to the games are into the games, they're cheering, they're making a lot of noise. And I don't know how that will be affected, like I know our guy Will, like he sits in the south end zone, and we talked about one time how the north end zone is louder than the south end zone in most cases. And he was like, I'm glad you mentioned that because the south end zone needs to raise their game up. So like when you have a west side and it's more, luxury seating, does that take away from the game day? That would be my biggest concern.
Yeah. And I think it's a fair concern. I'm interested to see how much the capacity actually drops. Because
it'll be under 80. Well, I mean, I would think.
I would think. I don't know how much. Like, is it a situation where they drop to 75,000, or is it a situation they drop to like 78, 79? Florida State, when they did theirs, which I wrote this in the story, I don't anticipate it being this much. But when Florida State did theirs, and why they got a ton of pushback from fans, was it dropped almost 13,000 in attendance. I don't think Oklahoma wants to do that. That would be, you'd be talking about going under 70,000. I don't think they want to do that, but I do think it's going to take a bit of a reduction.
Even when I was, a kid growing up, the capacity was around 72, like 72.5 or something like that. That was before they redid the east stands and put in the press box or the suites and all that. But yeah, it used to be 72. I mean, in the heyday of Oklahoma, we're a bigger state now, and that's the thing. Like people say all the time, well, why can't they have 100,000 seat stadium? The population base just doesn't support that. And when you play, you play in Illinois State to start the season, it's not going to be full.
Kent State, those games, they struggled to get it, sold now. I mean, they've had to, the university, to keep the sellout streak alive, has had to buy some of those tickets to make sure. So, like, at my point of view, at the same time, like, while I don't love the idea of, bringing down the capacity, Oklahoma's already kind of not struggling to sell out, especially big games. Like they definitely do, but
they're still offering packages for games once the season has started. So.
Yeah, and so I also think season ticket sales have gone down some. So I don't know.
But they're making more money. That's the thing.
Yeah.
They're charging you more in donor fees.
And I don't,
seat prices.
I don't blame anybody. Like if this were to happen on the east side, I mean, I know my dad would be furious. Like if he had to, if he was going to lose his tickets. I mean, he's already paying a lot of money for that stuff, and they want him to pay the donor cost too, which is just an insane number. So I don't blame anybody that's on that side that's upset, and I also don't blame anybody for thinking like, why would you want to bring down capacity? At the same time, I also know Oklahoma does need to do these renovations for some. One, the press box and the suites up there need to be renovated in some fashion.
Yeah,
and I know the infrastructure as well. I mean, it's a 100-year-old stadium. It actually, it really does need to have some sort of renovations on that side.
And Joe Harris talked about that yesterday. Like, we're going to have to spend a lot of money regardless.
I just don't know if the answer is building a bunch of club and, suite level seats that low to the field and having that many. Like, that's a lot. And you already have a ton as it is in the south end zone and obviously on the east side. So, I don't know.
It'll be interesting. I think the other thing about it is no one's able to say what type of disruption that will have for the overall capacity during the season.
Yeah, and a few details. Supposed to start after the 2027 season, and I think they'll do a little bit before that you won't notice, like in the off season and stuff. But the full construction will start after the 2027 season. It'll go through the 2028 season, so you'll see probably a good amount of reduction in the 2028 season in terms of capacity because they're going to be renovating that entire west side. And then it's supposed to be done before the 2029 season.
That's interesting. A lot of stuff, to work through, I know still. And for people that are like, well, what are happening to my seats? You'll get the call eventually. Yeah. I mean, that's it. And I'll say this, being
and I think I've had a lot of people reach out to me. They've already spoken to the university. I've even had people send me, some of the stuff that the school has sent them, which including one picture. I've seen a picture of a rendering. I don't know if it's changed since then, but I've seen the picture of the rendering, and it's interesting.
It's an interesting picture.
Yes, it's an interesting picture. That's what I'll say.
I can't wait till the first angry OU fan storms into our offices thinking we're the Sooner Club and yells at us.
Yeah. I will say, too, I put in a records request to get the official renderings because I think they have them. They've indicated that they do have them. So hopefully I can get those and I'll put them out as soon as possible. Joe Harris did say that we're going to get them soon. I don't know what soon means, but hopefully we get our hands on the actual. Because, again, I got sent one, no idea how accurate it is. Could have been from months ago, and maybe it's changed since then, but we'll see. Hopefully I get some official stuff on that.
It's going to be interesting, too, because, people don't realize there are a lot of things housed on that west side, like Sooner Vision, the studios where you see all the shows.
Sooner Vision studio.
So they'll probably have a great new studio when it's all said and done.
You can come down to Sooner Scoop.
Yeah, we can host them in the 2028 season, not the 2008 season. I thought about that before I said it. All right.
Remind me in 2028.
About just
the entirety of it all.
Yeah, Eddie, do you care about anything?
No, not that for sure.
CFP rankings, $450 million renovations to the stadium that has the biggest threat on our board right now.
He's engrossed in women's basketball lines right now, all right? That's all he's really
Not at all. Not at all. Just don't. It's great. I think it's a great thing. It's kind of like the scheduling of games like on into the future. I'll be excited about it when it comes about.
It's only 2 years away.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, sure. Way more excited about the baseball stuff yesterday.
And here's the thing. Well, yeah, we'll talk about that. Here's the thing. Like, you want to schedule and I know you'll be at 9 conference games, but you want to at least schedule somebody to come in here in 2009 to open that new stadium, right?
Yeah, and I think they have.
We'd be time travelers if we did that.
2029. Damn it.
Dang. That's unfortunate.
I think Nebraska's on the schedule at that point, aren't they?
I'm trying. The Wi-Fi is not working.
I know.
Carrie.
I know. I messed up the network. Except for the microphone part's working great.
How's Josh on here so clearly? if our Wi-Fi is not working.
Because he's not on the Wi-Fi. He's
29.
on Ethernet.
Nebraska is on the schedule, but it's September 15th. So I would,
Is that in Norman though?
yes.
Okay, it's not the Lincoln.
At Nebraska in 2030. 29, they open, I imagine this will be the opener, September 1st at San Diego State. Should be fun.
At San Diego State?
Yeah, but
that'll
that
be a
gives them
great
time
trip.
to wrap things up.
Torrey Pines.
So who do they play in 28 when there's all the construction going on?
Temple, the home games.
Yeah.
Temple and Colorado State are currently on the schedule. There is a road trip in 28 at Houston at, I would imagine, NRG.
Who are the SEC teams? Does it have updated on there? Because we know that.
I don't have the SEC schedule in front of me, no.
I can find it.
I had something to move on to, and then we got off track. Oh, yeah.
There's a big game coming up.
Let me ask you this. Alabama coming up. Real quick, what did you think of OU's loss to UCLA, George? Because, I mean, Aaliyah Chavez
Women's
just
basketball.
not – I don't know. I expected her to be a bigger, force, I guess, on offense. But she's kind of –
Well, she's
kind of
just
feeling
not.
her
Her
way.
shots just aren't falling.
Played for 8 quarters?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's part of it. She's
They
had
had 4 games this week, by the way. They play tonight again.
Yeah. Her shot's just not falling. You watch her play though. I don't know how much you guys have actually watched.
I
them.
watched a lot of the UCLA games.
She is. I'll tell you, when she gets the ball in
Her
her
passing
hands,
is great, yeah.
Passing's great. She gets open looks. Like she creates open looks for herself, and she's just not hitting. So
I think the commentary there is just going to be depth, right?
yeah, for me, it's not so much about Chavez. I mean, they need Chavez to start scoring for sure. But the problem,
There's a scary moment when Reagan Beers went down, but she was okay.
but the problem for me
She's
was
kind of the queen of, oh my God, is that the injury that's going to put her out for the year? And then she gets up and she's fine.
it was pretty funny. Ginny, you could hear Ginny on the broadcast say, "Get up, you're fine," which is it was hilarious. But the problem that they're going to run into is when they play these really good teams like UCLA, they just don't have the depth or the experience, and they're going to need like their first 2 girls off the bench, Brooklyn Stewart and the Lofton girl. They're both true freshmen. They've never played, and all of a sudden they're playing a Final Four team, in their second ever college game. Like they're going to need to grow up pretty fast, and if they can, then I think they got a shot because I think their starting 5 is really good. Oklahoma's. But
the good news is it seems like, George, that they're right on that tier of like elite Final Four type teams.
I think they're
so
like
to say that they're like they're still they're a top 10 team.
Yeah.
Don't
They're
get
an
me
Elite
wrong.
8 type team, yeah.
But are they a team that can really compete with Texas or UConn
I mean,
or UCLA?
UCLA might win the national title.
They
Like,
look
that's how
really good to
and
me.
they got the girl that came off the bench and scored 20 for them is the transfer from Utah, Neepkins. OU almost got her, and if OU would have gotten her, that would have been massive. You have to remember they only have 11 girls on the roster, and 5 of them are true freshmen for Oklahoma. I mean, that is not an ideal situation, and so they missed out on Neepkins, and they really didn't go after anybody else in the portal. So if they would have gotten her, I mean, you saw how good she was for UCLA. She would have been a big difference maker.
All right, I think that's the most women's basketball we've ever talked on the Unofficial 40. Alabama coming up this weekend. Guys, I would say the one thing that worries me most about this game is that Ty Simpson could put together an Arch Manning type game where
he's getting inside information from Arch.
Probably so.
No, he is. There was a story about it. They talk
missed
every
this.
week. Nick Kelly wrote about it.
Oh, because
We
the
talked
Manning,
about it on
they
the game
met
day
the Manning
preview that you
Academy and stuff.
produced.
Yeah.
They talked about it, and he gave him
Well,
some
you would
tips.
never know I produced it because I never get any credit on that show.
We literally talk about you all the time.
I know, but Eddie does never say thanks, Carrie, at the end.
There's no thanks to be needed.
Just one time, it'd be nice, Eddie, to be recognized.
If they make the playoffs, maybe we'll get there.
Anyway, no, I do worry that his ability to make plays downfield while evading OU's rush, kind of like a la Arch Manning. Like that's my biggest concern in this game. It's not Ryan Williams. I mean, it's a concern. Jeremy Bernard, Ryan Williams, obviously the Miller kid. I know they're not running the ball well, but I like what he does. They get him the ball out. A lot of screen game with them, and I think having Gentry Williams back is going to be big for this defense because he plays that stuff really well historically. But to me, it's Ty Simpson, guys. That's my biggest concern in this game.
And it doesn't help that I don't know if R. Mason Thomas is going to be able to play. Like he could have been we saw it last.
I'm just assuming he's not.
I am too at this point.
same.
I don't think he's going to. But
It's Wednesday. It is Wednesday afternoon. About what 4 or 5 hours? We'll have the first, or they put him out at 6.
I think
now.
he tries to play,
right?
But I just don't know how.
Travels, goes through pregame, kind of like McKenzie did last week.
100%. I just don't know how effective he's going to be. I mean, we're talking about a quad injury. Like
for an explosive player, like that's just not an ideal.
I don't know if you
situation.
guys caught the Monday Night Football game, but they were talking about McManus and how he's had a quad injury the last couple of weeks, just from a kicking standpoint. And it's like it's lingered for 3 or 4 weeks now, which makes me think, even though you're just 2 weeks removed, I just don't know what can be done to get him ready. I do think that kind of puts guys that we've talked about on the practice reports this week kind of in the spotlight, like Taylor Wine, PJ Adebore, Danny Okoye, Marvin Jones Jr. Those guys are going to have really, really good games. It is kind of crazy, and we pointed this out with Nick as well, Josh. For Alabama to have basically no run game, something we've been well-versed in watching, it makes it even more incredible what Ty Simpson's been able to do.
It really does. Now, I will say the guy that I really like, Kerry mentioned Jam Miller, the Daniel Hill kid that's like 6'1", 240, like just a wrecking ball. He actually does some good stuff in the running game. Like they'll find a little something with him from time to time. But I mean, guys, to me, I think the whole thing this game comes down to is, can Oklahoma run the ball consistently? Because if they can keep Ty Simpson off the field, I just think it relieves so much stress, because that secondary guys, I mean, Ty Simpson's got a very, very real chance to be the number 1 overall pick next year. Like that's how well he's playing. And the secondary, we've seen him give up some big plays, and Trinidad Chambliss and Joey Aguilar are slightly different challenges, but they're giving up yardage. And against this group with Bernard and Williams, I mean, to me, that's the 3 best players on Alabama's roster. And they're all connecting with each other and making plays. And, Kalen DeBoer and Ryan Grubb are outstanding at finding different ways to get those guys the football. So there's just a lot to prepare for Oklahoma. But if they can, like, against Ole Miss and Tennessee, so often early on, Oklahoma's defense was on the field for huge chunks of that first half. That can't happen in this one. Like, it just can't. Alabama is too good and has too good of a quarterback. They will make OU pay for that.
If you want to be glass half full, which I love doing, being very pessimistic about it, Tennessee definitely kept OU in the game a little bit. Like, obviously the strip sack,
and I think
they missed out on opportunities.
Tennessee's just not as good as Alabama too. Like
that's what I'm saying. Like, you have to play much better than they did in Knoxville. As great as that win was, now there are, I think, signs throughout the game of whether it be forcing turnovers defensively or finding a run game, continued ability to build upon what they did with the offensive line with Ryan Foje, Michael Fasusi, Eddie Pierre-Louis, that group. I definitely think that, like, there's an avenue coming off of a bye week. You feel pretty good about that. I think kind of what we led with the program today and talking about John Mateer just being outright healthier. And, overall, outside of the R. Mason thing, I think this is the healthiest they've been.
Yeah.
Like, I think they should get Logan Howland back if you need him to flip right or left as a backup option. The one name that I don't know about that we really haven't talked about, what's Keontae Lewis' situation going into this week?
It's a good question.
I think it's a good question. I think they could use him. I just don't think – I think John Mateer getting healthy, I think he's still kind of working with Giovanni Gibson a little bit. Like, I don't know if Giovanni Gibson's going to do much this year. I mean, it just hasn't happened. But
I want to see more Jermichael Carter.
Yeah. Jermichael Carter had some nice plays against Tennessee.
Keontae would be good to have back, though, because he was kind of Mateer's go-to target early in the season.
Sure. Especially before the injury and then before Lewis's own injury.
It's kind of crazy he hasn't played since Texas.
Yeah. I did a radio show this morning in Atlanta. They were asking me about Keontae Lewis. It was kind of funny, too. He said, the availability report comes out where you expect Keontae Lewis to be. I'd ask about Jaden Ott, but I just put him under the don't care item. Like, that's kind of the situation right now.
Well, it's just crazy that Keontae's rushed back for Texas, but then hasn't played since. Like, I mean, is there any thought that something else is wrong? I mean, I don't think so, but
well, what scares me is that he did kind of try and come back, and he hasn't been back since. Like, it might just be Dunzo kind of deal.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm going to be very interested to see what he's listed at tonight.
Guys, I'd love to see some Logan Howland, back to our old nerd out football days, some unbalanced offensive line. Just bring in an extra offensive tackle and line him up next to Fasusi or Foje and let them run some power at Alabama. Like, I think they can do that stuff. And your tight end's best options right now in the run game are just being pure blockers. So I'm not mad at all about that idea.
Do we think that is this run game thing real? Can they go down to Tuscaloosa and just find a way to be able to run the ball even a little bit?
I think Mateer can.
Well, I think Xavier Robinson can.
Yeah.
I think the way that he's running the ball right now and the way that the offensive line is moving guys, and you look at Alabama's defense, and they're playing better. They're getting better every single week, it seems. Their kind of weak spot is up front. And I think that, they have not been great in rush defense. I think Oklahoma's going to have some success running the ball. I think it's throwing the ball that it's going to be a little bit difficult. So I think Oklahoma needs to go with the mindset in this game that, hey, we got to run the ball. We got to run it early and wear them down.
This is a bottom half of the league rush defense, guys. This is not the Alabama we all knew and grew up with and whatever. I'm not saying they're bad.
Sure.
They're just not special up front.
Well, I think
there's no.
They also haven't created a ton of like sacks and pressures, I don't think.
Kind of just waited for that to happen. I think Saturday was the first time that I'd really been able to sit down and watch Alabama play against LSU. And you just kind of kept waiting for that final knockout punch. And it just never came. And then when LSU was able to force the strip sack on Ty Simpson, it was like, LSU's not going to f around and win this game, are they? I didn't. Obviously, there was no real threat, but it did kind of leave you in the back of your brain like, okay, Notre Dame Navy's kind of gone by the wayside. It's time to kind of focus in on the happenings in Tuscaloosa.
Well, like you guys talked with Nick Kelly the other day. Did they miss some chip shot field goals?
They missed one. Yeah, like a 37-yarder. But Talty has not been great. I think he's 11 for 16 this year.
I think that's the biggest thing to me in this game. I think Alabama's the better team. I do. I think when you have a quarterback like that, it levels so many other things, so many other advantages Oklahoma may or may not have. But what I will say is I think Oklahoma matches up pretty well with Alabama. I don't think Oklahoma's going to have to contribute a lot of bodies to the Alabama run game and, put Ryan Williams and Jeremy Barnard on islands or anything with their corners like that. I think they can be pretty simple up front and really manage Alabama's, offensive run game. So, to me, I think that's the question is how often is Brent Venables going to heat him up? How often are they going to get to where they're getting into some of their blitz stuff? Do they want to do that a lot? Do they think they can shake Ty Simpson up? Or is it, we're going to drop and make him really drive the field and, have a 10, 12-play drive?
We had Dusty Dvorak on the Family Business this week, and he was asked that question by either Joe or Isaac about, what's Brent's approach going to be like in this game? Because they don't have to worry about stuff in the box and stopping the run in Alabama. They do have to worry about Jeremy Bernard and Miller out on the edges and Ryan Williams, running down the field. Like, is Brent going to change what he does? Maybe not try and light, Ty Simpson up. Maybe play more coverage. Try and mitigate some of the big plays that they're known for having. And it's going to be really interesting to see how he approaches it.
Let me ask you guys this. I had this in my mailbag.
What does he say?
He said he thinks he'll change the way he does things.
Okay.
Let me ask you guys this. This was
I should have said tune in later today.
This was the headline for my.
That's just the tease.
God damn it, guys.
We're having a conversation over here. Sorry.
The OU mailbag.
Well, just tell us already.
Don't. Okay, everybody, calm down. Nobody walk away from the pod. All right.
Gosh, the commenters are right. The mailbag this week. How many points does OU have to score to win the game?
I think like with every game, 30.
I said 28.
It seems like the golden number, doesn't it?
I said 28. I think 30 is probably about right. I said 28, and I don't know if I feel good about it, but I do think I think I could see a game where if OU holds Alabama to 27 points, I think Oklahoma can win.
And I think they could do that.
Yeah.
I might just to play devil's advocate.
It'll
say
be hard, but they could do it.
31. I could see Alabama scoring 30. Just a bad turnover, putting them in a bad spot. I don't know. This is another one of those games for me defensively that, like, I believe that OU is a very good defense. But every time that I've kind of started to think that, the Texas game happens, and you can't get off the field on third down.
The Ole Miss game
or the Ole Miss game happens. I know those are like the only two like true blue examples, but even Tennessee, like you said, Josh, they went up and down the field in the first half, and I just feel like if you do that again,
they scored 10 points first half.
Who, Tennessee?
Yeah.
Yeah, but they were moving the ball up and down the field, were they not?
I mean,
they
were
kept killing themselves, George.
Well,
Aguilar
some of that
shot
you have to
himself
give
in the
credit to Oklahoma. I mean, some of that. I mean, Oklahoma forced the fumble
on the Robert Spears Jennings. I have to give credit. Robert Spears
I mean,
Jennings
they
caught
had
punts.
pressure. I mean, to just discredit Oklahoma on those 3 turnovers, I think is ill-advised. I mean, they had pressure on all 3 of them to force those turnovers.
I think it's fair on a couple. I mean, certainly the Owen Heineke, R. Mason, like that. OU created that. Like, there's no question.
But
now,
they were
part of that
speeding up
you could
Aguilar.
argue is
Yeah,
Tennessee blew a
they were
blocking
speeding up
assignment.
Aguilar. Like, I understand where you're coming from, especially the first few drives. Tennessee was moving the ball.
Sure.
But to act like Oklahoma's defense didn't just like bow up and make some big plays, like
or make
not
him
saying
play,
that.
make him play out of his comfort zone, which they did.
They did.
Can
but
they
again,
make it-
this is a much better player.
Well,
Like,
that's the
I'm
thing.
not-
That's the
yeah.
thing. Like Arch Manning, they
Yeah.
sped him up. They got him out of his comfort zone. He handled it. Like, is Ty Simpson
Sure,
going to
he
do the
did.
same thing?
And he made some really good throws. Like credit to Arch, credit to Texas for being able to get off the field when you get into a 2nd and 18, backed up
Same
into
with
your own end zone.
Chambliss. Like, OU put Chambliss in some tough spots, and he made some great throws.
If OU
Well, a
can-
lot of it was with his feet too.
if OU can
that true?
either A, win the turnover battle, which, I think has kind of gone under the radar just a little bit. I know Brent talked about it on Monday, but they're 16-0 under Venables when they win the turnover battle, which, kind of speaks for itself. And then B, if you can get off the field on third down, you're going to have a really good chance to take advantage on Saturday. I do believe that. And I think that this is an offense that maybe has turned the corner a little bit. And we talked about it on the, I think it was Monday's show, George, just talking to the players on Monday night. It does seem like, and I don't know if this means anything, but it does seem like there is an era of confidence, maybe even like a little borderline of swagger that this team has now, being able to say that we've gone into some tough places and played really well. The way that they've handled some of these road games has been a real positive that I didn't think that they were going to be able to do. Like, I think that was one of the big things going into Knoxville 2 weeks ago was, yeah, you can say that you go play well on the road, but it doesn't mean shit if you don't go and actually win in a hostile environment. They handled everything extremely well at Neyland, and I think that you just have to go build off of that now. And it's kind of a cliche line, but it kind of is what it is. Like, everything is out in front of you right now.
Talking to especially the defensive guys on Monday, especially Taylor Wine.
Great interview.
It's almost like it's matter of fact with him. It's like, yes, we enjoy going on the road. We enjoy these environments. Like, we're not going to be fazed because we just went to Tennessee and handled that and won and made plays all over the field. Like, they're going in expecting to play really well. And I think the thing about like last year's team versus this year's team, and George, this is kind of what I noticed most, is like there is no like we think we can do this. And you felt that a lot last year. Like it was almost like, well, we're going to go out and play this game, and we believe we can win, but you kind of felt like they were waiting for the other shoe to drop the whole time. I don't get a sense of any of that with this team this year.
No, and I think the leadership's better on this group, and it starts with the quarterback. Like, I think Mateer has actually like brought a lot of leadership.
Yeah.
And just belief that like, okay, this guy, he may not be the best player in the country, but there's people in that locker room who believe he is. And I think that a lot of times belief is all you need in some way.
I thought you saw it just in the second half with Kobe and R. Mason. I mean, and we talked about this all the way going back into I think it was the Michigan game maybe. Just like defensive guys being a part of the offensive huddles, vice versa.
That was not happening last year.
You just don't see that kind of stuff. And I don't think that like that ultimately is going to be the reason that they would go to Tuscaloosa and win. But I certainly think it's a component that helps you have belief in knowing that you can go down there and play against a team that I've said it multiple times on multiple shows this week. I think the number's 2 They've lost 2 conference home games since 2015. That's 10 years.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's crazy.
Teams just don't walk into
I also think too,
Bryant-Denny Stadium.
But
and
you know
win.
what? You know what? It's I can't believe I'm going to quote a man that I openly hate. But Kirk Cignetti, when he was asked about Indiana going and not beating Penn State for so many years in Happy Valley, he was like, "Well, this Indiana team's never played at Penn State."
Yeah.
And I love that mentality. And they ended up winning that game, and no one thought that they would. But I think that's the attitude OU's got to have. Like, yes, all this stuff you can talk about how nobody's done this and this, but they haven't played this Oklahoma team.
Yeah, and you can sense that they certainly, believe that inside the walls there at the Bud Switzer.
Barry
Bears,
Switzer.
I just pulled a carry.
Who's
Don't
Bud
say I
Switzer?
pulled a carry. You
The
go get your daily
really got
greens and
Munson
get yourself
there.
right. All right,
Hey, by the way, my wife loves the daily greens.
they're crazy.
Anyways, I will
talking
say
about
too,
you.
like there's going to be this
.com/Houston.
talk. Like I still think Oklahoma's going to end up 9-3, and there's going to be people that say, "Oh well, it's disappointing." Like, don't move the goalposts because we all said before the season, 9-3 would be a really good year. And I know that Missouri and LSU have dropped out of the rankings, and some of these teams, Texas is not as good as like this schedule is still incredibly difficult.
100%. I still think LSU is going to be something of a tough out.
Yeah, I think so too. I think Missouri will. I think Missouri will be. I mean, Missouri's defense is legit.
Missouri, they did everything that they could last week. God love them. I mean, that the freshman quarterback being thrown into that situation is a little bit unfair. You want a hot take going into the LSU week in a couple weeks? I think OU. Josh, does OU want Nussmeier to play? Van Buren, he scares me a little bit.
I kind of agree.
I fully agree. Because Nussmeier's not right. Something's wrong. Like, I don't know what it is, but that kid's a better player than what he's put on tape. And, guys, I'm trying to remember if that was maybe the summer before George came over with, but, Eddie, do you remember Van Buren camping at OU?
Yeah.
Like, he was –
yeah.
I really liked him back then. I
thought he was going to be the guy. Mm-hmm. I thought that was going to be the guy that Levy was going to go after.
And Nussmeier looks.
I did too.
Nussmeier looks a little checked out to me. Like he's like, all right, this is over. And
well,
then,
that's the other side. Gun to my head, I think there's a good chance that he hangs it up before.
Yeah, and I think Van Buren, from his perspective, is probably like, hey, like I could be the starting guy here next year, or he could be like, this is an audition for the portal. If he were to change schools, like he's going to want to play well. If he's the guy by the end of the season, but I still think Oklahoma should win that game. Missouri and LSU both have a lot of problems. As good as I think they are, and I think they have some talent, they also have some just like fundamental problems.
What was the stat that you said about Drinkwitch a couple days ago? That
it's something like he's not lost to in his last 3 years at Missouri. He has not lost to an SEC team with a record below 500
or something, yeah.
But he's also not beaten a team in the SEC with a record above 500.
Yeah, it's pretty
in conference play.
Pretty point blank. You either are playing a bad team and winning, or playing a really good team and losing.
It's like, and it's one of those things where it's like, well, he doesn't lose to the bad teams, but he also has not really beaten the good teams.
Doesn't break
Guys,
my heart.
but doesn't that just feel like where Missouri probably should be?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, like they're a middle SEC team, and I think again, I like Drink. Like I don't like Drinkwitz, but as a coach, I think he's really underrated by most people.
I think he could end up getting one of these 3 jobs.
I do too. I've heard Florida.
Yeah,
Florida.
I was gonna say if Kiffin ends up staying or ends up going to LSU or wherever, I kind of think he ends up staying in Oxford. But that kind of seems like that would be the move for the people of Gainesville.
Very interesting who Missouri would go after if that were to happen.
I have no idea.
I wonder, they might hire from within. They might hire Kirby Moore, their OC.
Kirby Moore, yeah. Lincoln Riley.
He'd want no
kinda
part
seems-
of
Lincoln,
Missouri
Lincoln
in
wants
the
to go to
SEC.
the SEC.
Lincoln
with
kind of seems like a
Missouri.
Missouri guy. If they were, I just have a true belief that he does not want to coach in the SEC.
I agree. I think that's part of why he left Oklahoma. I really do.
100%. Yeah.
I mean,
I
100%.
think it's a large portion
yeah.
of it.
I mean, I think that.
And he thought he was going to go coach in the Pac-12 and wasn't going to have to worry about
And
shit
now he
like
wants
this.
to. I
Well,
think he was
and all
gonna-
the crime that he faced at home.
That's
that
true.
was a big problem.
Yep.
Oh, that was
That's
just
true.
from
Yeah.
Eddie.
Better not play in a bowl game, Lincoln. I will rob your home. It'll be armed. It'll be armed robbery. I can't be held in court for that, can I?
I do think we need to spend the money to send Carey to Los Angeles to ask him if he's
that'd
going to
be
be the next
amazing.
head coach at LSU.
Oh my God.
I think last week would have been the weekend to do it.
Yeah.
Do you think he would even have the awareness to laugh at it, or would he just be
I think
stupid enough?
Oh, I think he would go out of his way to try and block me from entering the
Yes.
building.
Yeah.
That's
Fair.
that's Lincoln's MO.
I don't know. With LA, I could see it being a thing. Like, you guys would never cross paths until that post conference.
I'd have
Or,
to go in
post-practice.
I'd have to lie about my name and my affiliation.
I don't think
probably.
you're blacklisted.
I think
I think if he
Go in with
saw
On 3, Carey. Just be part of On 3, not Scoop.
Andy Staples on 3,
but I think
I could pass
the
as
time
Ari
to do it,
more
Carey,
than I could Andy.
The time to do it would be to go to when they play Oregon and they're probably going to lose, and you do it after a loss, because then he'll really.
Is
be
that
mad.
in Los Angeles?
I don't know.
I would have to go on the road. I think somewhere else other than L.A.
No, it's at
It's at
Autzen.
Oregon.
It's at Oregon, so go. You should get credentialed for the Oregon game.
Oh my God! If you let Oregon in on the joke, they couldn't credential you fast enough.
Yeah,
Dan
just to
Lanning
fuck
might
with
help
him.
you.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
he might.
See if
He'll moderate
see if we
the
can do
press conference.
see if we could do a you know how they do the wife swaps. You go cover USC for Ryan Abraham, and Ryan can come down here and he'll cover whoever OU's playing that weekend.
Yeah, I bet Ryan would be down for that.
What weekend? Oh, it's next weekend. So you'd miss Missouri. It's a much bigger game.
I got Thanksgiving.
Think of the
Damn.
views. Well, Thanksgiving's the next
the
week.
next week, yeah.
Let's give it this next week. You'd be fine.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm looking at.
Sounds like an excuse.
No, I
You
was
scared of
I was
Lincoln?
in next week because my dad and my brother's birthdays.
You're
next
all
week.
about the clicks and the views, Carey. Think about the clicks and
I
the
know.
views on this.
I know. I'll think about it.
Or we just intercept him at that whatever roadway that is that you go from the USC football facility to the practice facility. I think
Oh,
everybody's
yeah.
always seen
Yeah.
that road,
Mhm.
and we could just ambush TMZ style. Wouldn't be the first time.
Lincoln, I want to finish my question.
Eddie, can you let him borrow one of your Bush suits, just something to hide in there?
I would have to go.
Okay.
While Carrie's there, we'll do the armed robbery. See if Caitlin could get in on the situation as well.
That Graham Bensinger interview after the robbery is going to be a all-timer.
Be number 2.
All right, that's going to do it. I know Josh has got a split, but Alabama coming up. The boys, Eddie and George, will be on the road.
I really am looking forward to this one because I think that I keep going back to that Mason Thomas play, and I want that to be as big as I think it is right now. And if they're able to go win Saturday, all of a sudden you got 2 home games against Missouri and LSU with a real opportunity to punch a ticket into the college football playoff, which I think, if we're all being honest, nobody thought that could be a possibility after the Ole Miss game, that they were going to be able to rebound the way that they did.
I do have one more thought, Josh. Could I borrow your daughters when I go out to L.A.? Have you seen those videos where a parent comes into the house and they have a little kid and they're like, hey, the neighbor wants to fight and he's got a kid just your age. You have to fight him. And the kid's like, all right, let's go. And there's 2 girls in one of them, and the other one of the littlest one was like, what are you talking about? And the older one was like, yeah, let's go get him. I could
little one, if Lainey comes in and is talking about somebody being mean to her at school, Layla's like, where do they live? That's her immediate response. She is hard as a coffin nail, dude. She don't mess around.
So
So
we
that's
would
the one to
put-
take for
pit
sure.
them against the Lincoln's kids.
Yeah, we would definitely put Layla on Stella, it sounds like.
Yeah. Layla is not, and Layla's got some jujitsu training. She's ready to roll.
We're kidding. We don't want the McQuestians to beat up the Rileys, but maybe. I don't know.
But it absolutely is hilarious to think about hypothetically.
Eddie will show up in a wrestling singlet.
Now we might end up with charges if this is the way that this is going.
He's going to wrestle Lincoln. Let's be clear.
I bet Lincoln cannot wrestle to save his life. All right, that's going to do it. We'll be back again next week after the Alabama victory, right? For
Maybe.
another edition.
They score more points than Alabama, they'll win.
We'll be back again next week for another edition of the Unofficial 40 Podcast right here on Soonerscoop.com podcasts.